The OnePlus 5T, successor of the OnePlus 5, son of Carl Pei, killer of flagships, and a blatant copy of the Oppo R11. Let's check it out. The 5T, unlike the 3T which came out in March this year, comes in a white and red box. The black and the red box looked way too cool to be ditched. Bad move, OnePlus. Removing the phone from its housing, and within a second you get fingerprints on the aluminum back. Luckily, OnePlus includes a plastic case which they still call an exclusive gift. Oh well. On the bottom we have the speaker grill, a microphone, the USB-C port for charging and data transfers, which by the way is still using USB 2.0 and not 3.0 or the 3.1 spec. Shame. Oh, and we also have the infamous headphone jack. Now the retail unit I got was assembled in Noida, Uttar Pradesh, India. Remember, this does not necessarily make it a made in India product since literally everything has been imported into the country. Oh, and it's assembled by Oppo no less, given that most of the 5T is still basically AR11. Once you have the phone set up, the new 5.8-inch OLED display lights up your face because OnePlus phones still can't seem to adjust brightness correctly immediately after setup is complete. But that aside, the display looks beautiful. It is certainly a good edge-to-edge display, but in no way is a bezel-less display. At least it has symmetrical chins on either side, unlike some other phones that launched earlier this year. OLED displays are going to probably get a terrible street cred this year thanks to all the number of issues that have come up in mobile OLED displays. The Pixel 2 has the burn-in issues, the iPhone X's display controller has weird issue with rendering black on color regions, and the 5T's controller has issues with rendering scrolling text. It's looking bad for the boys in the OLED team. And I am pretty sure that this has nothing to do with the displays themselves, but how the display controllers drive these displays. And I hope that each of these devices fix their controllers via firmware updates sometime later this year or earlier next year. On the back we have the OnePlus logo, the fingerprint scanner, which is still one of the fastest I've used, and finally the new camera assembly, which we'll talk about in a moment. Now let me be honest, the OnePlus Launcher is probably my least favorite part about the OnePlus phones. As soon as I get any OnePlus phone, I instantly install the Pixel 2 launcher or the Pixel launcher as we knew it earlier last year, and I just install it and use that. The swipe right to read news and check out other information cards that Google gives is much more useful than the silly widgets that OnePlus puts in its launchers. So OnePlus, do consider tweaking your launcher a bit up. And now, as with any OLED display on Android phones, you're going to never get a full black display. The launchers have this slight gradient from the bottom which kind of ruins the OLED black effect. But this isn't a biggie. If someone asked me what was my favorite feature of the OnePlus phones, I would definitely say the silent switch. This 3-step switch is so very useful. I just hope every other phone starts implementing it, and yeah, I'm not going to get into the royalties part because yeah, I have no idea how any of that works. Now during the 5T event, OnePlus made a big fuss about OxygenOS, and rightfully so, because they have added in some tweaks to the OS that make it really useful on the 5T. So let's check those out. Right out the gate, I'm left disappointed. Android 7? Come on! Oreo would have been great, but I have learned to settle with Nougat. So much for never settle. Out of the box, the Bluetooth codec is also set to SBC. You should switch to aptX or aptX HT if your pair of Bluetooth earphones support them. The display is calibrated to something called a standard out of the box. This is different from sRGB for some reason, and DCI P3 is a separate option. Play around with this until you find something that you like. I prefer the P3 calibration. Adaptive didn't really do anything noticeable in my tests. Face unlock is just a massive gimmick coming from the OnePlus team. It uses a mere 500 points to scan your face and match it to its local copy and decide whether to unlock it or not. And this is what makes the face unlock feature on the OnePlus 5T so much faster than Face ID. 500 points is something what probably the Mayans used in ancient times to match faces. But to credit the Mayans, they were very, very smart people. They were very intelligent people. So maybe OnePlus is onto something here. In any case, Samsung's Iris scanner scans a specific portion of your face at very high resolutions, and Apple's Face ID uses 50,000 points and also works in the dark. Now, given how not very great Face Unlock is, I will recommend to you to not use it until OnePlus improves on it, and stick to the super fast finger recognition that is on the back of your phone. The bottom firing speakers sound decent, nothing great. It'll get you through the day, as it's more correctly known, can tell up a meter square. compared to its rivals, which go all the way up to 1000 candela per meter square. This is also Apple's first proper HDR display conforming to Dolby's HDR10 specification. It's powered by... The video consumption experience is similar to the Pixel 2 XL. YouTube and Netflix work fine even if you want to fill the entire screen up, but the native video player still doesn't offer this yet. And finally, let's talk about the cameras. The front-facing 16 megapixel camera is still probably one of the best in any phone, Android or iOS. The wide field of view makes it especially great, but do remember that if you want to take selfies with it, you are going to end up getting a portion of your arm in the shot as well. The rear camera setup is an odd one. OnePlus ditched the telephoto lens for a normal one, but one that can capture more light in the dark or something weird like that. I wonder if NASA will make it a standard issue for its astronauts. See, even I don't care much for it. So let's check out the regular shots. Right off the bat, the shots are pretty cool. Tack sharp in the center and ever so slightly less sharp around the edges. That's pretty acceptable. But it does something very weird with the white balance and keeps shifting it slightly even when no light changes have occurred, making the image look a little warm or a little cooler than it is. HDR works very well on the standard camera app that OnePlus ships the phone with. Now for the portrait effect using the rear camera, it is good. It is a little slow and certainly not the best. And like I said in my Pixel 2 XL review, it is the king of portrait shots for now and will probably remain there until something like Google's own Pixel 3 XL dethrones it sometime later next year. Video was an oddball. The camera simply refused to focus in most situations, and I thought it was failing to focus because of how close I was to the subject, but this is the case in almost every situation I tried, irrespective of the subject I was trying to shoot. The digital 2x zoom is pretty good. It is really hard to tell at first glance. And now you've seen two pretty identical shots. The first one was actually a normal 1x shot which I zoomed into, and the second one was the actual 2x zoomed photo. It's really hard to tell, like I said, so good job OnePlus with this particular feature. I've had nice things to say about this phone, and I've had some pretty bad things to say as well, which, by the way, OnePlus can certainly fix using software updates sometime later this week or month or year, whenever they feel like, if they do feel like at all. But I can't get myself to fully recommend this phone to y'all. Let's say you buy the phone today, and by March of next year, well, OnePlus is going to launch the OnePlus 6, and that's going to make your 4-month-old phone redundant and old. Yeah, do you like the feeling? What do you think? Do you like that feeling? Because I don't, and I'm pretty sure all the people who bought the 5 just a few months ago are feeling the same way. Which begs the question, which flagship is the 5T trying to kill? Because Samsung's S8 phones, it cannot compete with it in terms of build quality, features, etc. It cannot compete with the iPhone 10 in terms of build quality and features. Price is the only thing it can try to compete with, maybe. So which flagship is the 5T trying to kill? Oh, I get it. It just killed off the OnePlus 5. So OnePlus is now killing its own flagships with its own phones, and it can still technically call them flagship killers. So with that in mind, if you still like to buy the 5T, because by itself it's a pretty decent phone, well, I'll leave links down in the description for you to check out. And that'll be my review of the 5T. If you've liked it, hit the like button. If you disliked it, that's pretty cool. Let me know down in the comments why you disliked it. If you're new around here, hit the subscribe button and don't forget to click the bell icon so you get a notification every time I upload a new video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.